What's up, guys? Welcome to the Changeover podcast. Before the video starts, please, it'd be a huge help for us if you like and subscribe to our channel down below. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. Today's guest is a good friend of ours, Rob Galloway. Rob is currently ranked 48 in the world in doubles after coming off the best year of his career. He played for Watford College in school, and he has a pretty unique story in the sense that he didn't know that much about his aspirations to play professional tennis while he was in school. So it's cool to see someone that, like I said, that had little to no aspirations in when coming to school about professional tennis and being able to make it to the top of the game. Like I said, he's had his best year of his career, winning multiple rounds at the Grand Slams, and he's ready to take himself to the next level next year at the ATP. So we're excited to have this episode with Rob, and if you love doubles, you'll enjoy this episode. So like I said, like and subscribe and enjoy the episode. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Changeover podcast. Today's episode, we have a good friend of ours from probably my first year playing on tour, and I guess for Justin and AJ it's a little bit different, but today's guest is Rob Galloway. Rob, thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be on.
How's home? How's off season been?
It's nice to live like a normal life for a little bit and do some like yard work and clean the house a little bit and feel like a normal person for just like 2-3 weeks. So yeah, it's nice to be home.
Okay, so we just talked about it just towards the end of the 2-3 week break. Back to work tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, so I start my preseason and gym and all that stuff tomorrow. So it gets a little crazier, but nice to have a little downtime before and let the body recover. Yeah.
How is your preseason training set up? Because I mean, for me being interested in playing doubles now, I'm curious about, this is gonna be my first preseason of me focusing on doubles. So I was curious, how do you set yours up? How do you go about your business in the preseason?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not on court as much as singles guys necessarily. Like I'm not doing like 4 hours of just like 2-on-1s and stuff like that. I'm going in with more of a specific plan of what I'm trying to attack each day. Of like, it could be just like one day of just all first volleys and it just kind of like repetition. And that's more of what doubles is just like repping out those little things versus singles. You're kind of working the conditioning and the 2-on-1s and just like more like grooving and things like that. Like I'll maybe do a little grooving just to get a little rhythm back. But then after that, it's very specific, like particular shots. I mean, I guess you do that in singles too, but just the doubles, like specific work and having more of that in mind versus like a general hits kind of thing.
How long are your training days in the off season?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like for me, like I still like I've taken like 2.5 weeks off and like I'm itching to get back on the court. For me, like I'll probably be on court for like hour and a half, 2 hours, and then gym hour and a half, 2 hours, and then recovery for an hour. So it's still a full day. I mean, I talked to Rajiv Ram, who's obviously done pretty well, and like he obviously plays longer into like Turin into the end of the season, and he like, yeah, I'll hit like once or twice a week. Like he doesn't even like, he's done it for so long that he's like, I'll just hit like a little bit just to keep the rhythm, and then I'll like start right before Australia. But for me, like, yeah, I still have a lot of things that I want to work on, and I like to work, so I like to be on court a lot. So,
and as a doubles player, what is the focus and like in the gym and on the field in terms of fitness? Are you trying to become super fit, or is it just in a very specific way to get, I don't know, faster moving forward, or what do you focus on in the gym?
Yeah, I mean, like doubles is all that explosive, like first step, right? Like it's all who can get like first volley pressing in quicker, like make the move approach kind of faster. So yeah, I'm trying to do more cardio this year because probably didn't do too much last year, but yeah, strength and first step, and then obviously just like the core and flexibility. And I'm getting old, so just trying to keep the body like moving decently well. Yeah.
What was doubles always the plan? Like after when you would leave in school, like initially, did you think, okay, I would love to be a doubles player, or was it kind of a little bit of both at first?
Yeah, I mean, out of college, I wanted to play both. Like or just to see if I could do both. And I gave myself like 2 years on tour just to really try and do it. Because I knew if I didn't, like, a short amount of time, it obviously isn't enough to really like see how you can do. And like doubles just went way faster. Like I won my first 2 futures in doubles, and my ranking started to like jump like a lot. And then singles, like, I mean, I was barely like getting points here and there. And so I had to kind of make that decision. What I want to do. Do I want to play like challengers and better tournaments and doubles, or just like still play quality of singles? And I realistically knew in my head that probably don't have the level to get to top 300 in singles, but do I have it in doubles? Like at the time, did I think it? No, but like more of a chance, I guess, at the time. Like I could make it in doubles. So
When did that belief start to turn? Like in the doubles, I mean. Like, I mean, you had some success early and like you said, in the futures and stuff, but to be top 100, top 50 in the world, I'm sure your goals is to keep going better. So when did it change in your mind and you think, okay, I have a good shot of really being one of the best in the world?
yeah, I mean, obviously you guys know tennis is such a mental, like tricky sport. Like when I won my first challenger in doubles that week, I was sitting on my laptop, like applying for jobs. And then like I win my first challenger and I'm like, oh, like, let's keep going a little longer. And honestly, like I never really, it's kind of weird to say, like, I never really had that full belief that I was gonna make it. And it actually kind of helped me. Like I don't know if you guys know Eric Buderak at all, and he's actually like he has like the TED Talk and stuff about like not setting your goals too high, right? And just see what you
I
can
think
do.
I've seen that one.
Yeah. So like, and he's been like a mentor to me. So I just kind of wanted to see what I can do. So like there was never really like, you know what, like I think I can be like top 50 or top 10 or whatever. Like my coaches would obviously tell me different things, but for me it was just kind of to see how far I could take this and how far I can run with it. And if I'm improving, then it's all great. And if I don't get there, there's not like, oh, you didn't reach top 25, like you're fit, like it's a failure. Like no, it was, let's just see how good we can do and how far we can take this. And there's no shame if I don't get there. So like didn't really put that pressure on myself to really try and hit a certain spot.
What's the concept about with not setting your goals too high?
I mean, I think there obviously pros and cons to each. Like setting goals is stuff to train for, what do you want to work towards and everything like that. But obviously, yeah, you kind of, if you don't reach it, like you're kind of putting too much pressure on, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself if you don't reach that goal, right? So like it's a balance on the individual. Like for me, it was just, let's just see how much I can improve. Like I'm only going to keep playing if I'm improving and enjoying it. So if I kind of set that, if I set a number like, oh, if I don't reach top 100 and then I'm stopping, then it's just kind of like every day kind of becomes a little miserable, right? Like you're trying to just, you're focusing so much on a number that like really doesn't mean anything. If you're 99, if you're 101, like does that really change anything for what you're getting into? No. So it's more just like improving and slowly like building that a little bit.
Yeah, I learned from, sorry, go ahead, Justin.
No, go, run it.
I was saying that I learned like recently about doubles too, that so when I preparing for a tournament as a singles player, let's say the 4 or 5 days leading up to a tournament, normally you would try to, if you arrive there, you try to get it hit at the courts, get used to the conditions a little bit, and then you would probably play a lot of points and that sort of stuff. And then I feel like what I learned that in doubles is even more specific. Like guys play a lot of points, but there's also a lot of like very specific like doubles training and that sort of stuff. That's something that I learned recently. So how challenging was it for you, I guess, going to these tournaments and still trying to prepare well for like for the week ahead with, you know, trying to find partners to play with, trying to find like enough practice hours to working on these specific things? Because last week I didn't feel prepared and I practiced for 5 days in a row and I didn't feel prepared, and I learned this because I probably was preparing the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I've been playing doubles for like just doubles for a few years now, that I know what I need to feel good. And I actually I played with a lot of different partners this year, which was probably like the most partners I've ever played with. But yeah, just getting that comfort of like knowing that I need a certain amount of like fed ball, like it doesn't matter who does it, or like certain amount of
Exactly.
serve and returns and things like that. And yeah, like confidence and everything obviously comes from like the reps of what you do. And so I know that if I get like a little bit of each of those things, then I'm good to go. So yeah, it just depends on the person but also depends on who you're playing with, right? Like if you're playing with someone like a friend or like someone that you've played a few weeks with, like it's easy to get the exact stuff you need versus a random singles guy. Like, hey, you probably don't want them to focus or like anything on doubles, right? You want them just to be happy and chilling. So you find another friend that's kind of in the same situation, or yeah. So
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead,
Okay,
Jay.
you go. I was gonna say, like, if we run it back to when you won those first couple futures and you started taking doubles seriously, did you have a plan with a partner, or was it just kind of like sign up for futures and looking for a guy, or were you like, I'm gonna be with this guy and we're gonna try and make it, you know?
No, the guy was
yeah,
Dom
like
Control. That was the guy.
no, that was the second guy. Uh, no, I went to. I mean, obviously, everyone's probably done this. I went to Antalya, Turkey, posted up for like 4 weeks, and obviously, I went with a friend that I was like, hey, we could play doubles together, but we're both trying to get our first singles points. We're trying to like do all that stuff, so it wasn't like a set kind of doubles team. It was more just, oh yeah, we're traveling these 4 weeks. Like, let's share a room, let's play, and
When
yeah.
you
So
were,
there's no. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, when you were still playing futures, were you still playing singles? Was it only when you got to the challengers that you stopped playing singles? Or
Yeah,
were there
yeah.
futures? Was there a point when you were like, okay, even at the futures, I'm only playing doubles?
I mean, I would still like, because I had some points. So like, even if I could play a future, I was going to play singles. Like, I mean, obviously the cash isn't good at all, but like, I was like, why would I turn down? I
Better
mean,
than dubs money.
yeah, like, oh, I'm going to turn down like $50. Like, what am I doing? I'm crazy. Like, not, I mean, now I still like to play singles when I can, but it's more taxing on the body for me because, yeah.
Do you remember us in New York, like all chilling in was it Buffalo or
Buffalo.
it was Buffalo?
In the basement. Yeah.
Basement of
At
Buffalo. I
Alvin.
mean, playing the pickup basketball game is probably like something I'll remember forever. We all went
I
to
Yeah.
forgot about that.
I
I
remember
forgot
also
about that.
I remember also I
Nathan Pasha was there too.
yeah,
I
I
remember
was
now.
saying
Yeah.
Pasha was there and he loves like NBA 2K and I didn't really play 2K that much and I beat him in 2K and I was furious. I remember that week too.
That man rolls up to the housing. We're all like, there's 6 of us staying at this housing, and just sets up his Xbox in these people's living room, and like, he's like, man, what are you
Comfortable.
doing?
Immediately comfortable. Made us up at home.
But it was fun. That was I don't even know. I was still in school, I believe, that year, right?
I think that was
Yeah,
like
2016 maybe.
2016.
You both were. Justin was in between one of his mini
Yeah.
schools, but yeah.
As a USF, yeah.
How was
Um,
how was your school, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I played at a really small school with no intention of like playing after. I mean, I had a great time. Obviously, I played higher in the lineup, which obviously doesn't matter where you play, you're going to play really good players. So singles and doubles, I felt like I was playing kind of the best in the country. And yeah, it wasn't the same like college experiences as a lot. I mean, it's a really small school, but I had a great time. So yeah.
where
worked
is
out well.
Wofford?
South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina. So like 45 minutes from where I grew up. So it was nice to be kind of close to home.
Do you go back at all or
And
not really?
My family still lives in South Carolina. I don't get back as much as I'd like, but it actually worked out really well because like my coach from juniors lived in that town where the college was. So I would have like my college coach and everything like that, and then be able to like sneak off and go do like my own like training sessions with my like personal coach. So
Yeah.
okay, cool. At what point in your college career you decided that you wanted to give it a try to play pro?
like honestly, I didn't even know like what the ITF was until like the spring of my senior
No
season.
way.
So like I didn't know what like ITF juniors, like I'd never even like heard of that, or like a future, like what are you talking about? So like yeah, honestly I didn't till like I was applying for jobs and doing all that stuff like senior spring, and then my coach and I talked like, let's try and figure out how does one make it as a professional tennis player? Like we had no idea, so we had to like reach out to some coaches and like yeah, get some ideas. So yeah, I had no idea. I just give it a shot.
Did
I
you
mean, work
play like
quick.
USTA juniors growing up?
Yeah, so like growing up, I was in the Southeast section, which was like pretty strong, and
Yeah.
like in the 12s and 14s, I was probably like top 5, top 10 in the South, so like, pretty good, top 50 in the country. And then I got burnt out. I quit tennis pretty much, and I went to boarding school in Virginia. Didn't I played like 3 or 4 USDA tournaments like all throughout high school. So I didn't
Wow.
have any ranking or anything like that, and then picked it back up, and yeah, so I had a kind of a different story like getting there. But
Do you feel like you lost time? Like when you were, I guess, in those years when you were on and off with tennis and then in school where you weren't really taking it? Like, because people start college lots of time with the intentions that they want to play pro after college, you know, and like I'm guessing your preparation wasn't the same as how these guys would attack the college. So do you feel like you lost time in those years?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I definitely coming out, I still had a lot to like develop and stuff, but even right now, I'm 31 years old. Jeez, I'm old, but like 31 years old, and I still feel like I have a lot to improve because of those years that like I wasn't necessarily getting better or like working towards this what I'm trying to do. So like there's pros and cons to it, but yeah, like, I still kind of feel fresh in that like I still have a lot to learn and improve like right now. So.
What's the focus on
Coming,
the
coming.
preseason? Sorry, go on, just think.
I was gonna ask, like, coming out of obviously a small school and not knowing anything about, let's say, the ITF, um, sound kind of like an outsider. Like you don't really know what's going on, but you want to make it in this thing. Did you feel, I don't know, sort of judged by other players when you started playing, or did it not really even cross your mind? You didn't really care what other people thought.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know me. I'm pretty feisty, so I think I came out with like a chip on my shoulder and like
Yeah.
had something to prove right away. Like yeah, oh, this guy played at UVA. Like I'm gonna try and
Yeah.
like kick his ass. You know, like this is my where I
You want
want
to
him
curse,
to.
you can curse. Right? Don't be afraid to let a few
I'll let it fly.
fly. Yeah.
No, like I definitely felt like I kind of had a chip on my shoulder. I mean, obviously, and stuff to prove because some of these guys kind of had like they were groomed to be professional tennis players. Like I'm playing for a job with the Charlotte Hornets. Like, what am I doing out here? You know, like
Yeah. And did that continue all the way through, I guess, now challenger ATP level, or has that kind of left you, that feeling?
yeah, that's kind of left me. I mean, I think for a while it kind of gave me that drive to like keep pushing and seeing where I could get to, and then now I'm at the stage in my career where it's not I'm more kind of at peace and not I really don't think I have anything left to prove to anybody. I've done some cool things in the sport and hopefully obviously I have still stuff I'd like to do, but I'm more at peace of like why do I owe or have to prove anything to anyone else? Like it's been I mean honestly I wish I had kind of had that mindset when I came out of school. Maybe things would be different, but it's like what do I have to prove to anybody? Like I'm putting myself out here vulnerable playing. Like it's pretty cool. So
How different has life been now that you, I guess, are you in high enough now to play a bunch of ATPs, like to schedule mostly ATPs, or is still a lot of challenges?
um most like pretty much most 250s hopefully I should be in maybe a couple 500s and yeah so like my plan to start next year is more of a tour schedule at least to start. So I
How
mean yeah
different
that's
is that?
definitely
How different is that going to be than the challenges?
honestly it's not that much different. I mean, obviously the money's is much better and the lifestyle's much better and you're going to like cool places. You're not going to like middle of nowhere like Chile like Justin. But um yeah, like and that's also nice. You can just like I kind of know my schedule now until like March, like January through March.
Oh, that's cool.
It's easier to like have a set plan. Yeah, like I've never been in this position before, so it's like it's kind of crazy to think like oh like in the February I'm going to be in Delray and like I know that right now, so like it's kind of nice.
It's exciting, huh?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of like years of hard work, but it's cool to like see it kind of pay off and um didn't know if I would ever get here, but yeah, I'll take it.
Do you have a set partner for like what's your plan, I guess, with a partner?
Yeah, so yeah, next year I'm starting with Julian Cash, the Oklahoma State. Um
Oh, yeah.
we played some challengers together, did well. So yeah, we'll play Australia and some tour events and see if that like continues for a while. And yeah, it's also different because I've always been in like for slams, like anyone I can get to get into like the slam
Yeah.
with, like just sending out like 50 texts, like who wants to play, like just
What's the
no.
cutoff?
Usually it's like combined ranking, so like adding the rankings together, it's like 145, 150. Yeah, so it's like
Singles guys want to play, they can play.
they want to play, yeah, they can play, and like I'll send like no shame, like you doubles players, you just have no shame. You send out like 50 texts, like you want to play doubles, you want to play doubles. It's just like it kills you inside, but you have to do it to like try and get in. So now
What's
I'm
the
at the
craziest
position.
one you sent?
Well, I lost.
How
Like this
high
is
do you aim? Do you text Novak too, or you?
no.
You start from one.
I text his hitting partner, not him.
You
Okay.
start from one, come down, or you start from the last person you can get in with and go up? Which way you go?
No, you try and get as high as possible, like, because obviously you want to be safe. But yeah, like you obviously try. You start with the people you know, right? You start with like the Americans or like the people that you like spent time with or went to college with, and then you start to just like lose all your dignity and just like ask like someone from like
You get left on
Russia that you've
scene
never
a
spoken.
lot, or
Huh? What'd you say?
you get left on scene a lot by singles
Oh yeah.
players, or do they always answer?
Like the higher your ranking gets, the more responses you get. Like it's not a lot. If you're like right on the cusp, like sometimes you just don't hear back, which is fine as part of it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you ever ask singles players?
Oh yeah, like I played Wimbledon last year with Lloyd Harris. I played Australia with Bagnus singles, like a Argentinian singles guy. Like
I
when
actually
you're
have a
trying,
I have. Oh no, you go. Sorry, finish. I didn't mean to
I'm
interrupt.
just gonna say like no, you're good. Like just when you're trying to get in to slams, like at some point you're just like I want to get in. Doesn't matter like what it takes because
Yeah.
the money's so good in a play slam. But then after that, it's yeah.
So I was gonna say like this may be semi-personal question. When you're at those events, those massive events, do you ever feel judged as a doubles player, or when you play with like a singles player or ask a singles player, do you ever feel like they not like look? I want to use the term like look down at you, but do you ever feel like judged,
No, yeah. I mean, like
or do you
you
feel the
know,
respect? You know?
it at first when I was like showing up there, like ran barely like sneaking in and things like that, I was like, oh, like I'm just gonna kind of sit in the back and like not just like not be in anyone's way or anything like that. But then once you've kind of gotten there, kind of more on merit and like you've like earned it, you're like, like I've earned it just like the other person, like the singles guy that's here, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
at first, if you're just like sneaking in and everything like that, like you kind of stay out of the way. But then it's like at this point, I feel like, I mean, obviously, I'm not like causing a scene or like trying to like take like Novak's like practice court. Like, no, I'm just gonna like sit in the back, sit in the back. But
No, you
yeah,
wait.
yeah. I need some more feeds real quick. Like, but no, I feel like I've earned that just to be there and be around and it's not like a shock to be there.
I think that's the stage that
At
I am
what
in the
point?
challenges now. Like I feel like I've gotten in now 3 times, but it's always been the last team in. Like I've always been the last team in that I get in. And I don't feel like I'm there every week. So I just don't want to be in people's way. I want to, you know what I mean? I mean, I guess that's courteous in general, but like I know exactly what you mean, like by, you know.
Yeah, like that's a good like. I mean, it's like it shows. Yeah, it talks about your character, right? But like it's also like you've earned like if you've been in one challenger and you've earned it, right? Like you've earned it just like the number one seed in singles to be there. Like it's your job and your opportunity to do well. So it's like it's just getting comfortable. Obviously, like not causing a scene or anything, but just this is your job too, and like you've
Exactly.
earned the opportunity to be where you are. It doesn't matter really what tournament or what level. Like everyone's earned that opportunity to be there. I mean, most without wild cards and stuff, but like, yeah. So just it's your tournament just as much as anyone else's.
Yeah, true.
At what point in the rank, like at what ranking in doubles does the money actually become like profitable? How high do
Yeah, I
you need to
mean,
be?
like depends on it depends, right? Like if you're ranked 100 but you have like a buddy or like a brother or someone like getting you into slams, like
Yeah.
you're breaking even just getting into the slam, so the rest of the year like you're making money. But if you're ranked 70 and you're struggling to find someone getting slams, and you're not like you have to be playing like all 4 slams to really feel like you're making
Yeah.
money. And yeah. And then obviously if you can play a tour schedule on top of the slams, then that's when you're like you're not making singles money, but you're making money. Yeah.
What other, I mean, how many tour events have you played? You played like, I'm guessing Derry Beach, maybe Winston-Salem, was it?
Yeah, like this year in the schedule, I probably played 10 tour events
Yeah.
and then 4 slams because those slams don't like count into that. So
Okay.
a little less than half of my less than half of my schedule was tour events this year, but close to half. So
How much nicer of a step up is it than the challenges?
It's not. I mean, it's nicer. Like everything is just taken care of, right? Like you're like pick up from like the airport. Like it's not just like a shuttle that runs like every like hour and a half. It's like they're picking you up in a car and you're going straight to the hotel. Like everything is just kind of like a step up. Laundry, free laundry, like most tournaments. Like some of the tour events have free stringing.
Oh, really?
Food, like
Wow.
yeah, or like the ones in Asia have like has started to have like free stringing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like everything is just like a notch up, and you're like you really don't have to worry about anything. Whereas like some challenge, like oh, I'm still gonna go get dinner and still do stuff. Like tour events, it's just a little like that bump up, which is
Yeah. It's
And
nice.
while we're still on the event subject, about how many events do you think you played last year? Give or take.
probably
Obviously, I don't need an exact number.
yeah, like about 35. I think 35 weeks was, and
Actually,
that's
that's not bad.
I mean it's pretty high. Like if you look at where my ranking is, most people probably play closer to 30, but like doubles obviously is different than singles. Like the point totals is insane. Like I have like almost 1,800 points in and if I had that in singles, I'd be like top 20. Like there's just like you have to play so many more. You have to play like more weeks for doubles,
Yeah, for
or
sure.
To
or
win
just
so
do
many
better.
tournaments in doubles.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me to win, like I have to win challengers to move up. I have to like yeah. So you just have to just collect as many points as you can throughout the year. I mean, obviously, like the higher you get, then you can scale that back if you're playing bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked that just because there's always like that mantra that if you play doubles, you have to play like every week of the year, you know? So I just
Mhm.
wondered if do you feel like you're just always on the road for doubles?
Yeah, like this year, I kind of made a point to like, yeah, like I don't know how long this is gonna last. Like let's just kind of go all out if my body can take it and see where I can get to, and then next year, knowing more of my schedule, obviously, hopefully, I can scale that back and like prepare, like take like more breaks and things like that, knowing that you kind of get more points at some of these bigger tournaments earlier on to replace some of the challengers and stuff.
Do you have a lot of non-countables? You must have so many, huh?
Like yeah, my lowest thing that counts is like a 45. So like for a challenger, I think if I make a final of a 75
Humble
challenge.
brag.
Well, yeah.
No, it's not. I honestly I wish it wasn't. I wish it wasn't. I wish
I
I
have
had.
some zeros and twos, so
Yeah, that's great. So like your opportunity to do well and like make jumps is huge. Like and that also plays into like a factor of my schedule. Like, am I going to play a 75 knowing that if I make the final, I get 0 points? Like, because it's like 45, 50 points. Like, so that'll play a factor into my schedule next year. Is like hopefully like playing a little less. So
do you
Yo,
talk
I
about
think my
these?
phone's gonna die soon. Just so you know.
All right, you're gonna roll out, but is this something you talk about with your coach? Like you plan with your coach, or is it more driven by yourself?
yeah, it's more driven by myself, but next year it'll be more driven like partner conversations and what we want to play together as a team versus individually. Like this year I played with so many different partners and different like yeah, different combinations that like it was more of my choice and my schedule. So now I have to kind of like be more flexible to like, oh, you want to play these certain tournaments, like let's go play that swing. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a different dynamic.
What do you look for in a partner?
You just look for Jody.
Hey, yo.
That's my partner.
I need to start winning some tournaments so we can play.
Yeah, definitely. No, like I look for obviously like the on court stuff of like helps me out on serve or like good energy and like things that we just can kind of like have fun. But then there's also the like looks at the game the same way, right? Like where you're willing to like sit down and break down film and watch matches of us and like take criticism and we you did this wrong and you're like you were shit with this, like you need to fix this. Like that's kind of what I want to do to keep improving. And if you kind of for me to play with someone that just like goes through the motions and doesn't really want to like improve and kind of treat this as their job, then it's kind of like what's the point, you know? So I'm looking for someone that wants to kind of analyze it and break it down the same way that I'd like to get better.
Do the doubles guys
I
look at a lot
remember.
of film? Sorry, Justin. Sorry.
Yeah, Probably I mean, I was like, I'm not a singles player. I'm a wannabe singles player, but like I don't watch that much. Like singles guys, I'm not sure how much film they're watching or versus, but doubles, like we watch a lot. I watch a lot of film, like for
What do
my
you look
opponents.
for?
I watch a lot of film on my opponents to like scout and look for some tendencies on like big point deuce points where they like to serve, like how they like to return, some of their weaknesses, like things like that. So like doubles is such like fine margin. So if you can kind of have like on this deuce point, like they're going T, like then that's like a kind of an advantage to know. And then we watch a lot of film of ourselves to be very like critical and what can you do to get better. So
Good. You were gonna say something?
I
Justin?
remember back in Buffalo, you and Dom Kitron had some words about your second serve back in the day. So
oh
I
yeah.
guess one, has that second serve improved? And what have you actually improved this year that gave you such good results? And how candid are you with your partners about what they can do better?
Yeah, like yeah, Dom, who's still a friend, and we'll text every once in a while. Like we had some like brutal like conversations, and as you guys know, Dom will tell it how it is. But yeah, like now, like I'll kind of have those conversations. Obviously, there's like different ways to handle those conversations, right? Instead of like, man, your serve sucks. Like you need to be better. No, like let's have a conversation of like what we can do. Like, hey, maybe if you do this, I can help you on the serve, and like so definitely have more of those conversations, and uncomfortable conversations and doubles are actually good, right? Like if you're playing with someone consistently, because obviously you want to hold each other accountable and get better. Those conversations suck, but
Well, how do you tell someone your second serve sucks without saying your second serve sucks? You know, or you're missing volleys. Like stop missing volleys. You can't. Like some of
it
it comes
depends.
down to ability. No, like you can't tell someone just be better.
Yeah, for sure,
you know.
for
In a
sure. I
match,
mean, obviously,
no. But you could be like, you could work on your second serve.
Yeah, something.
yeah. You sure you don't want to hit more second serves? No, like it obviously depends on who you're playing with, and if you're playing with someone consistently that you're trying to form a team and do. If you're playing like 5 or 6 weeks with someone, obviously you want them to improve, and because it helps you as well. So, but if you're playing with someone for like 1 week that you don't really know very well, like I don't advise you to be like, hey, your serve sucks. Like that 1 week is going to be miserable. So like, yeah,
No,
just
you
it's
praise it this way. You praise it. Hey man, like I really want to work on my second serve return. You mind hitting me 100 of them?
yeah, yeah. Oh, that serve was terrible. Yeah, hit another one.
Has,
No,
has a partner ever, I guess, pointed out to something that you weren't good at, that you didn't know you weren't good at already, or was it always that you
yeah.
kind of already are working on that thing?
No, most of it I'm not like I'm pretty self-aware. Like maybe that could be better, or like I'm in the wrong spots and things like that. So like it's nothing. It's like completely like shocker. Like your volleys suck. And I'm like, wait, that's like the best part of my game. Like, what are you talking about? Like, but no, like even like yeah, with Julian, we played some challengers last year, and like I learned like I was in the wrong position a few times on like certain shots, and like we go back and watch the film. Like, man, that doesn't look great, does it? Like, it's pretty bad. So like then I can make those adjustments. But yeah, it's yeah, those conversations they suck. But if you're in the right like professional mindset, then it's much easier.
How much of
What did you
the
improve most this year?
sorry, go
Um, second serve.
ahead.
Honestly, like the game, like not specifically like shots, not actually that much. It's more consistency of my level of like playing just like the same way. Doesn't matter if I'm playing first round of a challenger or third round of a slam. Like just keeping that same level the whole time, because everyone can play. So it's not like so no, there's not one shot in particular. I mean, I spent this year, I've made a big jump. I've been working with a mental coach, and that has like changed my mentality and how I approach things, and really like dialed into that. So that was a big change for me in the last like year and a half, 2 years, that have really helped me make that jump. And yeah, so not
And
really one shot.
what do you guys work on on the mental game?
Um, just kind of I'm preparing every match. So like every match I played like almost 90 matches this year, and every match I'm preparing like with like a journal, and preparing two pages pretty much of things that could happen, things that like like I could be serving for the match, and like how am I going to prepare for that? Like preparing for all kind of different situations that I think could come up. And so when it happens in the match, it's not a surprise, right? Like I served for the match and got broken. Like how do I respond? Instead, now I'm prepared for that. And so yeah, just that preparation in advance has helped me get to the point where I'm kind of ready for everything, which obviously you can't prepare for everything, but it's more, yeah.
Do you feel like that's draining though? Like to have so many, I guess, potential situations in your thoughts? Because like we had a swimmer on the podcast a few weeks ago, and he told us that he would do something similar with his races, and he would swim the race so many times before the race actually comes that he's tired by the time the race comes. So does it weigh down on you having to repeat these processes all the time and that sort of stuff?
That's interesting. I mean, I could see how that could wear you down. For me personally, it helps me know that when something does happen in the match, that I already have like the tools and like the skill set to handle it, right? Like it's not, I'm ready for whatever is thrown at me. I don't actually have to, like, maybe I spend more effort before the match, but during the match, I'm not wasting energy on random things that happen, like bad line calls, or like I get broken serving for the match, or my partner like choke something. Like I'm not wasting any energy. Like my skill set has been built to be ready for those things to happen. So then it's easier to respond instead of like letting things.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I see what they mean of like mentally exhausting, because yeah, it's a lot of reps. I mean, I played 90 matches, so I'm writing like 180 pages in a journal like throughout the year. Like it's a lot, but it's helped me get to the point where
It's
I feel
draining for the forearm for sure.
yeah. I mean, I haven't written this much in school, so like I'm sure my handwriting is terrible. And if you looked at it, you probably couldn't read it, but it makes sense to me, I guess.
Do you reread it during the match? Like, do you ever look into it and look at something during the match?
Sometimes I do, like not often, but like it's also become so much of a repetition at this point for like certain things that's the goal of it, is to like do it so much and that you feel like you're ready for it when it comes. So at this point, I feel like I've done it so much that it's almost natural for me to like kind of think about things when things start to like change. And
But
yeah,
is it like the scripts are going to be very similar? Like
they're similar. Yeah,
from
like
match to
the
match to
shell.
match is probably very similar.
Yeah, like the shell of it is very similar, but obviously your opponents are different. So like I could be playing like Jody and AJ, and you guys are like screaming like college kids, like just going nuts. So like I'm prepared for that. Or like I'm playing like Italy, I'm playing in Italy, and I'm playing against Italians. So like 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 you kind of just start to like different conditions. Like I'm playing on grandstand at the U.S. Open, the crowd is going to be like this, and like the stadium, like so you can start to like
Okay.
piece this together. So when you're in there, nothing's really a surprise.
Yeah. I was gonna say when you're looking for doubles partners or you're communicating with guys, is there a style that you like? Like, do you prefer guys that serve better, guys that, control the net well, return? Like, is there something that you think fits your game well?
Yeah, I mean,
And how important is that in general, like in at the top?
yeah, I mean, everyone's looking for like styles that complement their game. So for me, I I serve pretty well, but that's not like my strongest asset. Like so, my return's my strongest asset. So like I'm looking for someone that serves really well and returns pretty well. So like we can like mix together, and together like both of our serves are good, and I return well. Or I'm looking for someone that helps me on my serve at the net, that's like very good at the net. Um, I think at the top it plays such a big factor into the combinations, because you'll see some teams and you're like you start to like think about what they do well, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. At challengers, it's not really, obviously that would be the ideal scenario if you could play with someone consistently that like you like mix well together, but you're obviously just trying to get into the tournament, and that's the same at any level, right? Like if you're just barely getting in, you're just trying to get into the tournament first, and you're worried about the combination second.
Sure.
But as you improve, you can be more picky and more.
It's more of a privilege.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're consistently in every challenger, so now like I want to play with someone that's actually gonna like that I know that I can do consistently well with. So yeah, it doesn't matter if it's futures, challenger, tour events. Like yeah, the higher you get, you kind of earn that privilege to like play with who you want to, I guess.
Yeah. On this topic of styles, the last few tournaments I played with Josh Sheehy. He's lefty and I'm righty. So we were talking about, I played the ad side, and we had this discussion about potentially switching. Maybe I go to deuce and whatever, and then we spoke with Hans, who's also lefty. So I guess the conversation was about the lefty righty combo. Is there, do you see a lot of teams doing it a certain way, or does that depend on how they play as well, or is it more like, do you see majority of the teams doing it this way?
I actually played a lot with Hans like last year and this year, so it's a good question. Like lefty righty, obviously the ideal scenario is the forehands in the middle, because like lefty on the deuce and righty on the ad, because the middle ball is typically where the ball goes in doubles, so the forehands are there. But and also when you're at the net crossing, like you're crossing to your strong, like longer forehand side.
Yeah.
But if like you return well on the other side, and you both do, like there's nothing wrong with doing it the other way. Like the Bryan brothers would switch sometimes, and they're obviously the best team ever, and they were lefty righty. Like they would mix and match, and so it's just like making sure you're in the right position, even if you're like the opposite way, and like covering the right spots. So, like there's no like, it's not like a definite answer. Like I played with Alex Lawson, and we ended up switching sides because he felt like he returned better on the ad side as a lefty. It's fine as long as we're like kind of like on the same page with where we're covering and stuff. So
That's
it's not
what I'm
like
thinking about. Like I'm thinking about, if I'm pinned at the back, I would prefer to be on the deuce side, hitting forehands. But equally, if I don't know, like you said, the middle ball is gonna come to both forehands if I'm on the ad side, and then I question which side we make more returns on, because I feel like, I mean, last week we were 0 for 7 in our match on break points. So, I mean, we're getting to the break points and maybe not making them play enough. And I mean, it could have been even worse. I mean, even more opportunities for us. So I was just finding it hard to try and figure out the balance. And then I started also questioning like game style. Like, do I need someone who, returns a little bit better and that sort of stuff? Like, there was so much going on in such a
and
short
that's
period of
doubles.
time.
Yeah. Like I mean, but like to your point, like if you switch and you're on the deuce side, like to cover that middle ball, it actually like you can like strategically like figure that out, right? Like, well, if your partner's up at the net, then that middle ball doesn't get to the middle backhand.
Exactly. That's what
So
Hans was explaining to
up,
me.
you play up more to take away that middle, so you can kind of like you finesse it to cover your strengths or
Yeah.
take away your weaknesses.
Hans's advice to me was that if we like to stay at the baseline on the return games, both of us at the back, then probably we stay with the forehands in the middle. But if it's a case where I want to play on the deuce side and I don't want to see backhands, maybe Josh doesn't want to see backhands on the ad side, then one person play up and just close the middle hard, cover the middle, so they never see a middle ball. So yeah, that was one of the things.
You're learning, Jody.
I'm trying. I spoke to Sem Verbeek last week, and I didn't speak to him. We planned to speak because like I said, I'm new to this, and I felt like I did some things wrong last week in terms of my preparation. Like the week of the tournament came, I played singles, which was fine, but then that week, like the next 3-4 days, all I did was like a extended warm up. Like I just did a long warm up with a lot of volleys down the middle, cross courts, like close in ones, and like some hand feeds of what's it called, like return volleys, you know what I mean? But I didn't play points. So I sat back and reflected, and I said, if this was a singles preparation, I'm not walking into a tournament week and just grooving for 3 days, So
Right.
I felt in a way not prepared when all I've been doing for the last 3-4 days is training and getting ready. So
yeah, I mean, I think having those conversations with guys that have done it and guys that are ahead of you, and it's helpful. Like even during COVID, I was calling, like I set up calls with Rajiv, and just to pick his brain and like, how do you do this? How do you like work as a partner? What do you find? And like Julian Roger, some guys. So like, I think having those conversations, even singles, I think it's super helpful because guys have done it. It's impossible to do the sport on your own. And like, might as well ask some guys some advice or like what they did or where they traveled to, or things like that. So it's very helpful to, yeah.
I'm gonna be calling you some more this year.
If I answer, yeah, that's fine.
You got a question, AJ? You gonna say something?
No, it was related to the conversation before. It's all good.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to backtrack.
Anything else you want to cover here today, fellas? You have anything, AJ? Nothing?
That's
Bro,
it.
No,
Yeah.
pick this brain.
So
No,
preseason starts tomorrow. Back to work.
back to work. Yeah, get to the details and yeah, I enjoy the work. So and that's another thing. Like doubles, singles. Like for singles, I wasn't really enjoying the grind of like 2-on-1s and just all that stuff. And like doubles, I was
Yeah.
enjoying the little details of getting better at some of the stuff. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to work. Like I'm going to practice tomorrow. Like I'm pumped to go do some of that stuff. So
Yeah, this is gonna be my first preseason for dubs, and I'm excited. So actually, let's, if you are willing to, Rob, I would love to get on a call with you next week and talk about preseason, please.
definitely, at any point. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Rob. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully you
Yeah,
enjoyed
thanks for
it.
coming on.
Yeah, hopefully that was all right. And yeah, thanks for having me on. And you guys are crushing it in the podcast. So excited to listen to more.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we're trying hard. So, yeah, everybody, thank you for watching. Remember we have the pro stringer. If you need a stringer, get the pro stringer. Do you string on rackets, Rob?
I did up until like a year or two ago with the pro stringer. Actually, there's your
He's
plug.
on tour now.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
a big
yeah,
boy. Oh, okay, I'm top 100. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Oh, I got so much money now.
yeah.
Oh,
All right,
gosh.
Rob. Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.